as far as I know you, you really, really hate violence, right?
Yeah, that's why I studied martial arts. And when people hit me, I don't get hit. I don't like violence. I don't like violence.
Yeah,
Right?
because
Yeah,
for some people they look at violence like, yeah, like I said, it becomes something sexy, something attractive. I used
that's
to.
because they never experienced it before, right? You ask someone that been raped, you ask someone that been robbed, you ask someone that had a home invasion, or carjacking, frontal confrontation, road rage incident, get a baseball bat in the head. You ask that person, is violence sexy?
Hmm.
Okay, that's the loser. Now you look at the winner, the person that did it to somebody. PTSD, right? Or some kind of sick psychological thing, right? People that think violence is sexy is uh, I don't think people think violence is sexy. I really don't think they do. Anyone that thinks it's sexy has never experienced it. People that experience it don't think it's sexy. The reason why people think it's sexy is because they've never experienced it. Then the next question is, why is it if they don't experience violence, they think it's sexy?
Hmm.
It's because it is in your archetype. You look at every single archetype, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, anything, any mythological thing, your collective consciousness has mythology and archetype. And who's the hero in every myth? The warriors, right? That is a thing that's in your DNA, right? That's hardwired tribal thing, right?
Hmm.
Because, well, builders and fighters. That's how we survive as a species when we're tribal. That's in your DNA. So when people present violence, that taps into the male archetype of, okay, yeah. So that's where that comes from.
Hmm.
But you translate that to reality. There's no glory. There's no. That's why Lao Tzu said, a good warrior looks at victory as going to the funeral of his brother. And
Hmm.
that's why weapons should be a last resort. Any martial art that doesn't do weapons is not martial.
Hmm.
Because if you want to see the truth of something, you have to exaggerate it to this extreme and contrast it with the other extreme. In fact, that's what stand up comedy is.
Yeah.
And the world's first stand up comedian in China, Cheng Zhu. He was the most sarcastic, satiring stand up comedian, right? If you want to understand something, contrast yin and yang. And we see by contrast. The only reason why I can see you in front of me right now is because your silhouette.
Yeah, that's true.
Contrast is how we see, right?
Yeah,
So if you want to see the truth of something, contrast it.
because I noticed that, like, back then, like before I met you, right?
Yeah.
I already trained martial art for like 10 years before I met you, but for some reason I was a little bit aggressive back then. I was a little bit douchey. I think that's weird to just admit it on camera, but
We all are. Yeah.
like if it's me before I came to Canada and stuff, right? If somebody like want to pick fight on me, I'm like, oh, let's go. But now it's just the more I train,
The more peaceful you are.
yeah, like the more I hate violence. Or
Because victory is going to the funeral of your brother,
yeah, like
right?
I
You throw
literally feel
you throw
bad.
death on the table.
Hmm.
People don't think it's sexy. I'll tell this story of a scrimador. I'm not going to mention any names, but I tell this story a lot to drive this point home, right? It's like, okay, this guy comes through. He's a full contact stick fighting champion. Helmet, hockey gloves. He's got a stick. They're sparring. They're dueling. He's winning all the time. He's a champion. He goes to a scrimador's house. This guy is not doesn't do tournaments and is really an actual scrimador, confirmed kill, sharp blade. That guy comes in and goes, I'm a champion of stick fighting, blah, 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 blah. I want to see what you do. And he's sitting in that way like he's challenging the guy. And the guy's like, we don't do that here. He goes, why? Your stuff is not realistic. I want to see you spar, blah, 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 blah. And he keeps pushing the guy. The guy's like, no, man, we don't do that here. Keeps pushing the guy. The guy goes, all right. Looks at his student. His student smiles, locks the door. Now the guy can't leave. The guy looks back, the champ, and he's like, what's going on here? The guy throws a real sword, sharp. He throws it on the table. He goes, pick it up. You say you want to see what I do? Let's go. He grabs a real sword himself. And the guy goes, no, 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 no. I just wanted to spar. He goes, oh, you wanted to wear a helmet, play with pad sticks, and wear a hockey glove. That's to use violence, right? Pick this up. This is real. He goes, I don't want to get into a real sword fight, man. Because why not? You're the champ, right?
Hmm.
And the guy apologized. And he apologized enough times to Scrimador forgive him and goes, don't come back. And they open the door and let him live and let him leave.
Hmm.
All of a sudden, violence is not cool.
Yeah.
It's only cool when death is not on the table. is only cool when it's social violence. It's not cool when it's actual violence, when it's real. Now it's not cool. So if you're gonna do martial art, go all the way. Go all the way to the other side, the dark. And then you'll be like, oh, this stuff's not cool. But if you just play in the middle, then you become more douchey as you train. You want to spar, you want to fight, you become more of a douche. But if you go all the way to the serious side, all of a sudden it's not cool. And then what happens when it's not cool? You become peaceful. Because you're like, I don't want to do this to somebody, man. There's one thing taking a toy, a foam stick, and hitting someone in the helmet. It's another thing taking a real blade and cutting the guy's head off and watching it roll down the street. You don't want to do that to somebody unless you're sick, right? When that becomes a reality, you go, I don't want to do this. So why are you training then?
But even we don't want to do violence. I kind of like along the way, because before it's like I spar a lot, I getting hit, I hit them back, that feel good, that feel alive.
Yeah.
But now, when I have to use martial art, I feel like there's no emotion involved. And I'm pretty sure that after I use it, I'm gonna hate myself for that.
That's good. So now you become a better person, right? But I am not stepping on social violence, the douchey side. We kind of need that. Because if we don't have that, people will be picking fights in bars, in front of 7-Eleven, road rage will go out. People need a place to release that. Right? Even though I don't like it, I'm like, oh, it's good to have that. There's a place these guys can go and get it out, right? But it's not really martial in the true sense of the word, right? Because if it becomes a matter of life and death, then the next question is, after you become peaceful and hate it, then the next question is, why the heck would I do that to somebody? Knowing the price is, he can do the same to me. Now, when death is on the table, you have to ask what I'll die for, which means you have to ask what I'll live for. So it's not about winning anymore. It's about sacrifice to protect somebody else. That changes you. Now you're tapping into the archetype. And that changes your life.
That's more like, okay, you put it on the table. It's you not important anymore, right? It's all about like higher purposes for your loved one. Like, whenever I think about that, it at the same time it's make me like more responsible for like my loved one, like my friends. I always feel like because I train martial art a lot, right? I feel like I have a responsible to use that to help my friends, like got that protective kind of thing, like especially in like a chaotic situations, right? But the funny thing is I freaking hate it is as soon as people know that I train martial art, especially in a party, usually I don't let anybody know unless they like really close friend. But it happens all the time. As soon as they know I train martial art, for some reason they want to see me. They want to like test me. I'm like, what the heck?
That's social status, social balance, right? Like I talked about this before. Like you get animals in the wild, right? When they fight each other within the same social group. Well, wolves, wolf does that a lot. As soon as you show the belly, no one dies. If death happens, it's a pure accident. They're fighting for social status. Whoever wins gets laid, right? There's a lot of brawling, a lot of warning, a lot of fighting, right? It's not serious. No one really get hurt that bad. But when they fight a different species for food to eat it, there's no warning, there's no fighting, there's definitely no dueling, there's no showing off, and they kill it. If death doesn't happen, it's an accident. Humans are the exact same. If it's for social status, why are you fighting? Oh, I want people to know how tough I am. I want to get laid. I want to get the money. I want to get the trophy. I want everyone to cheer my name. That's social status, right? Nothing serious. Most bar fights, most tournaments, no one dies. If someone dies, it's an accident. It's nothing serious. That's fighting, right? That's social violence, right? But what happens when humans are serious? Like a criminal, like the military. They kill your ass. If you don't die, that's an accident. And they don't warn you, right? If a SWAT team's going to come through your door to get you, they're not going to say, we'll be there at 3 o'clock. There's no posturing. True. There's no hands up, bouncing around stuff. This is serious. They identify the threat, they take you out. Criminals are the same. Military is the same. So social violence and anti-social violence are not the same thing. 99% of what we call martial art is social violence. So the more people train, the more douchey they get. You want to spar, you want to fight. My teacher's better than your teacher. If I have a son, I don't want him to do martial art. He's going to get douchier and douchier and douchier. Unless he goes to the other side. throws death on the table, the more he does it, the nicer he becomes because he doesn't want to do this to anyone. And he doesn't want anyone to do this to him.
Mm.
So you can go both ways, right?
Mm.
But it doesn't mean this is no good. We need that so they don't pick fights in bars and so 7-Eleven. Like, hey, get it out.
Yeah.
You won't change anyways. You don't have the balls to do this, so go do this. You know, get it out of your system. So I think I don't take sides. I think everything is good. Everything has its place.
Mm.